Last week we looked at what moving your developer portal from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8 looks like and what that process entails. And today we're going to talk about where Drupal 8 is different, what benefits it brings, and why it's a good time to do it and move to Drupal 8. Drupal 8 keeps you up to date with where the action is happening in Drupal. Nobody's writing Drupal 7 modules anymore. They're growing stale. Drupal 7 was released 7-8 years ago. So there's not a lot of activity. Things aren't getting patched anymore. Like security stuff is still happening, but you can tell that the user base isn't active there. Whereas in Drupal 8, that's where everything's happening right now. That's where all the main contributors are. That's where all the great new features are coming in. There's a lot of good modern web stuff that you can get that's in Drupal 8, like being API first, having a full REST API available. Super easy in Drupal 8. In Drupal 7, that's a lot of work. Back when it was written, that wasn't a thing that people were really after yet. So for Drupal 8, they decided to adopt Symfony, a very popular PHP framework. So that let them not duplicate a lot of this code that was already out there and working really well for a bunch of people. So the big push was called Get Off the Island. That Drupal had been developing the systems themselves as they needed them over the years. But now PHP is much more mature and there are great packages and other libraries you can use. And so why aren't we doing that? So all of the code changed. So Symfony, completely object-oriented, much more modern style of PHP. The Drupal 7 and below is very functional. Drupal 8 and above, completely object-oriented. So for your programmers and developers, you'll notice a large difference. Here's something interesting. Drupal 7 and Drupal 8 have the same end of life. So at first, it doesn't seem like moving to Drupal 8 is going to get you very much, because it's also going to end of life at the same time. So for Drupal 8, they do regular 6-month releases. So we're already up to 8.7, I believe. And the idea is that when Drupal 9 comes out, it's just going to be Drupal 8 with all the deprecated code removed. So during this life cycle of 8, as they add new features, they will maintain backward compatibilities. So if you're on 8 and you want to keep going, you'll be able to go to 9, 10, 11 without complete rewrites. That's their goal, is that you can just do an update as if you were going from 8.6 to 8.7 and you're on the latest one. Whereas, as you can see with the 7 to 8 transition, it's a whole process you got to go through. You have to evaluate all your content, you have to evaluate all your modules, all your custom code, all your theming. Basically everything needs to be looked at, and you have to have a plan for migrating it or a plan for transitioning to some other functionality that's similar. So it's a difficult process, and so this new upgrade cycle should ease that quite a bit. When I started here at Achieve, we had just transitioned to Drupal 5. We had done a little bit with 4.5 and 6, and 5 was a big new thing. So we've done the transitions from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, now 7 to 8, and we'll be there for 8 to 9 and 9 to 10 and forward. So today we've looked at all the benefits you'll get in Drupal 8 and some of the differences you'll see and why it's worth moving. If you have any questions about this process and how it looks for your organization, please feel free to reach out.